Well, hello everyone. My name is Renae Kvendru. I'm the Chief of Contracts for NAVFAC Southwest. I've been in the role for about 10 years now, and my goal today is to talk to some of our newer employees who maybe don't have a clear understanding of everything that NAVFAC does. So I'll talk about that and then kind of relate it to what we in contracting do to support NAVFAC's mission. So NAVFAC has 5 business lines. The first one is real estate. Real estate, they're in charge of anything that's like outside of our installation fence line. So if our base needs to, say, rent a Walmart for extra storage, or if 29 Palms needs more land to train on, our real estate department would enter into those agreements. And they are completely separate from contracting. They have their own warrants. So they are the only business line that we in contracting don't support. Anything inside the fence line, like if the base needed to rent a trailer or something for admin space, that would be a contracting action, and we would work with the base on that. So business line number 1 is real estate. Number 2 is asset management. So asset management does our planning. So if you think about a project like the beautiful hospital we built up at Camp Pendleton, before that hospital can be built, we need a plan. So asset management works with us to hire planners, typically through architectural engineering contracts. They also do a lot of work in-house. Once we've got that plan in place, our next business line takes over. So environmental comes in. We need to make sure if we're going to build a hospital that we're not hurting the bugs, the bunnies, the endangered grasses that grow at Camp Pendleton. So we support environmental and contracting through environmental studies, through NEPA, basically hiring consultants to help them do their job. Environmental also has a separate piece called BRAC, Base Realignment and Closure. So, 2 decades ago, DoD decided to close down a bunch of bases and to reduce their footprint to ultimately reduce costs to DoD. And that was called BRAC. Once those bases were closed, NAVFAC came in to try to clean up the property to turn it back over to the cities. And 20 years later, we're still doing that. As you can imagine, when the Navy's been on an installation for 50 years, there is a lot of environmental cleanup to be done. So we support BRAC by hiring environmental contractors to clean up those parcels of land. Going back to that hospital example, so we've worked with environmental, we've got the NEPA clearance, we've coordinated perhaps with SHPO or whatever other support they need to get environmental clearance for us to build that hospital. We're kind of done with environmental at that point, and the project shifts to design and construction. So design and construction is our 4th business line. Within design and construction, we primarily do architectural engineering work and construction work. So from a contracting standpoint, we work with design and construction to hire architects and engineers to develop full plans and specs or requests for proposals to ultimately hire the construction contractor. So we do architectural engineering work, and then we hire the construction contractor who's going to build that hospital. Once we award it, the Corps down in San Diego, from a contracting standpoint, is done with it and hands it off to our field offices. So at NAVFAC Southwest, we have about, 20 field offices. Of those, 17 have contracting staff to support the project administration. We have handed it off in contracting to our counterparts down at Camp Pendleton, and they will be in charge of administering the contract through completion. So for the next 3 to 5 years, they're going to work with a contractor to handle any unforeseen conditions and award modifications, pay invoices, deal with issues that come up. Once they're done with that, the project's built, we shake hands with the client, we give them the keys, they now have the hospital. Design and construction is out, and Public Works is in. So Public Works is our 5th and final business line. Within Public Works, from a contracting standpoint, we are going to hire the services that hospital needs. So they're going to need people to dispose of medical waste. They need janitors, all of those types of facility services. So we do that under our facility support service contract umbrella. Typically that too is done at the field. And construction is also in charge of minor repairs. So if the hospital wants to paint some rooms, that is done under the Public Works umbrella. And a unique thing about Public Works is they also have a very large blue-collar workforce. So at our PWDs, they have both a blue-collar, most of them, I should say, have a blue-collar workforce and a FIAD that does contracting. So when a requirement needs to be done at the hospital, the first decision they make is, should we do it in-house with our blue-collar workforce, or should it go to contracting? Public Works is in charge of that facility for the next 100 years until they decide to demolish it. And the demolition is typically done under Public Works as well. At that point, the base has a blank slate of land, and they begin to work with our planners again to plan the next facility to go on that land. So that's kind of the circle of life of NAVFAC. We are in charge of all of the shore installations, the Marine Corps Navy, so all of their utilities, their construction, their BOSS services, environmental, and real estate. So I hope that was helpful. That's my very simplistic view of what NAVFAC does. It's much more complicated than that in reality, but it's a great overview for new employees. So thanks for spending a minute with me today. I'm out.